Hi, so with this lesson, you will be creating a review game to practice going over the different organelles of a plant or animal cell. We're going to learn how to use coding because it helps foster your creativity. It helps you visualize abstract concepts so that you'll be able to apply math to real world situations so you actually understand why you're using it. And it also helps you plan and organize your thoughts better, which can lead to better writing skills. So overall, it just helps everything. It helps you become a better student and learner in addition to lead to 21st century jobs. So the first thing we do, I kind of already started it off a little bit for you, is you're going to pick your backdrop. So we start off with this backdrop. When you click up here, you can change your backdrops. I just put a general pink backdrop and I gave it a title by clicking on the T here to add text. Now, and to get this circle here to represent our animal cell, I clicked on the ellipse right here. So when you click on it, you can draw your circle as big as you may need it. Let's say you don't want your background to be pink. You click on the um, paint can and then come down here. Let's say you want it blue. So we're going to click on blue and then touch here. So now our background is blue. I'd rather it be pink. So I'm just going to go ahead and change it back, but that's just my preference. You can change it to whatever you may be, whatever you may like. So once you've done that and save it, I just saved it as backdrop 1 right here. Now we need to add our sprites. Our sprites are the different characters that you will be interacting with in your game. So the first one I did was a picture of a nucleus. Now I found this picture offline. You can draw it, or you can find a sprite from the collection. Now if you want to choose a sprite from what Scratch already has, there's different options for you to choose from, but for this assignment you won't find anything for you to use. So you can either draw it by clicking on the paintbrush, or you can find something online and save to your computer and upload it here, which is what I did. So I found a picture of the nucleus and I named it up here Nucleus 1. Okay, so that's our first sprite. Now, when you look at the scripts, this is where you use your program to tell the computer, the program, what to do. I started off with this first event where it says when this sprite is clicked, and you find it under events. So when this sprite is clicked, it's telling you once I click on this object, something else is going to happen. So when I say click on this sprite, we're going to go under looks, under to this block right here, the say for 2 seconds, but instead of saying hello, I put down the description of what a general description of what a nucleus is. So you can say I am the control center for the cell. And then I told it to wait for 1 second, and that's under control. And then I told it to ask a question. What's my name? And then give it away. And you find this under the sensing, and it's under this block right here, ask blank and what and wait. And so I put the question in, what's my name? So what you're going to be programming is when the sprite is clicked on, it gives you a description of what it is, and you're asking the player to give the correct name for it. And we have a if then or else loop that's added onto it, and that's this section right here, which is found under control, which is I use this one. If something happens, then this happens, or else something else happens. So what I said was, if the answer that was given is equal to nucleus, which is what the picture is, then you're going to say correct, and it's going to wait, and then you're going to change the score by 1 point. And if it's not correct, if it doesn't equal nucleus, then it's going to give a message saying try again. Now, to add in this whole score aspect, it's under data. You have to make a variable. And in this case, where every time an answer is scored correctly, the player gets a score. And it's going to show up here in the top left-hand corner. You can move this or you can hide it if you want to. But in order to make a variable, you're going to click on variable and then type in your variable name here. Remember, whatever you decide to name it, make sure that is relevant so that you know what you're scoring. So in this case, since I'm trying to keep score, I just literally named it score. And you can have it for all of your sprite characters or just that specific one. I did it for everything just to be on the safe side. So then when you click on this, your tally mark shows up here. And when they have a correct response, it goes up by 1. Now, I've also added another sprite, which is this X button in the top right-hand corner. So the code for this one is, once again, under events, when you click the sprite, we're going to have a repeat loop now. So we're going to have this repeat block right here, but instead of 10 times, because that's too much, we're only going to repeat it once. We're going to have it say, you're about to exit the review. And then wait for a second and then say, are you sure you want to quit beforehand? So this will create a loop, letting the player know that, okay, they're getting ready to leave out. This is not part of the game. So, and make sure as you go on, you save up here periodically because you don't want to lose any of your data. So let's see how this is going to work out. So we're going to hit the green button. You see when we hit the green flag, our score starts back at 0. So I'm going to click on the sprite. It says, I am the control center for the cell. What's my name? So now I'm going to type in nucleus. And, oh, look at there. I'm correct. So you see, I get 1 point because I'm correct. Now, what happens when I type something in incorrect? So now it's the same thing, but let's say, I'm going to say you're a lysosome. So I'm going to type that in. Tells me try again. Now, the player doesn't lose any points if they get the wrong answer. They only gain points when it's correct. The purpose is to focus on correct answers. So your job is to continue this animal cell. Make sure that you create sprites for, we already did the nucleus, but the nucleus, ribosomes, mitochondria, lysosomes, Golgi body, and the endoplasmic reticulum. Make sure each of those are separate sprites and they have the correct code, which you will find similar to this one, stating what their description is and asking what's the name for it, and then have an if then or else loop attached to it. So, and giving them the option, if the answer is correct, they gain a point, or otherwise it says try again. You can also leave comments as to why you chose the code that you use. You do that by clicking on the event block, right-clicking on it, and then come down to add comment. Here you can leave a comment as to what the code does. In this case, you could say when the sprite is clicked, the player will receive 2 messages. And then as simple as that, your comment is there for you to go back and look at any given time. Also, please remember you will be graded for this. Each sprite that is created is worth 5 points. And the 5 points consist of having the correct description, a pop-up box for the player to insert the correct organelle name, as well as making it possible for them to earn a point. If you have any questions, feel free to email me.